Cover 3 Tailgate. And welcome back to the Cover 3 podcast here on CBS Sports. Bud. Oh, happy Halloween to all who celebrate. That's Tom Fernelli. That's Bud Elliott. I'm Chip Patterson coming to you live at youtube.com/cover3 and everywhere you get your podcasts on demand. Thanks for hanging out. Smash that subscribe, smash that like, and come and join us in the chat, a.k.a. the Cover 3 Tailgate. Where's Danny?
I'm efforting. I can't find my mouse. I'm hovering. Hold on. Give me a second.
What the
difficulties? Hold on. I can't.
All right, it's
Danny's
everyone's
nude.
favorite time of the week. Those of you listening, please go check out youtube.com/cover3 as we are celebrating. Danny Cannell efforting his way on into the stream. We can hear him. We cannot see him, but here's what we've got on tap for you. We are going to be getting into our entire set of Week 10 locks because this show is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more.
Oh, crap.
Okay, while he is efforting his way to get the camera on, we shall begin. Are you good?
No, I might have to take something off in order to find the button.
Ooh.
Is there anybody there who can help?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
That's for the Danny fans channel. All right, let's begin while Danny's efforting with a look back at the week that was, where as much as the haters can't stand it, every single one of us finished above 500. Woo!
Yeah.
All right, Bud, it was a 5-3 week. The wins included the Syracuse-Pittsburgh under 62.5, Boise -3, Penn State -6, Virginia Tech -10, Kansas +10. The losses were the Bowling Green-Toledo under 50, the Nevada-Hawaii under 46, the Cincinnati +5.5. So that has you at 5-3 for the week, 40-51 for the season. Thoughts on the Week 9 slate?
Let me see. BG and Toledo kind of got game scripted away from me, and they had a pick 6 in that game. So I lost the under there. I would probably bet that again. I would definitely bet Nevada, Hawaii under again. I mean, that was gross. Cincinnati, I would not bet again after watching the game. Like, I understand how the line closed, but like they gave up a can you guys even hear me?
It's a lot. So
All right. Our Mighty Morphin Power Ranger has shed his helmet.
yeah, bro, that's actually hard to talk in. We're going to need to make some modifications for it before tonight. Anyway, so Cincinnati, after watching that, I would not bet that again. They also gave up literally like a Hail Mary right before the half, which I guess Travis Hunter happens, right? But that was not the best one. Vatek 10, I mean, it's right side. It wasn't like the absolute nuts. Penn State, like I felt like they would have absolutely smoked them had Drew stayed in. Just they were getting field positioned out of it early. I'll shut up now. I mean, Q's Pitt, I think, was like clearly like the dead nut under. And as Tom, I think we'll talk about as well here in a little bit. And to win that with 3 pick sixes in the first half.
Mm-hmm. Magic happens. It was a Thursday night game that was worthy of being back in the time slot. We do have Danny Cannell, who is he's got the
poop. I'm the poop that has jinxed the whole Florida State season. So I own the Seminoles until somebody eats the poop in this solo cup. That's what it will take to end this disastrous season. Poop for.
I think it's the way the poop is bouncing right now. That really is just driving this home right now. All right. Chip had a 8-6 week. Let's see. We came home with the BYU UCF over 55, Indiana -6, Miami -20.5, the Washington Indiana under 53.5, Duke +12.5, Vandy +19, the Kansas State over 55.5, and Iowa -13.5. The losses, I was on the other side of that lock war. I had the over in Syracuse-Pittsburgh. Navy first quarter +3.5. Whoops. LSU +2.5. Lost that lock fight. I think we all saw LSU just sort of break. That'll happen. Ole Miss -20 definitely took some notes away from that one. ULM +7.5. San Jose State +5.5. That has me at 8-6 on the week. 57-51 for the season. And I'll say that as I was falling asleep in the early hours of Sunday morning, I was thinking back to ULM and San Jose State. And I was just thinking, just stick to the rivers and lakes that you're used to. I tried to go out there and just play total vibes when I need to just stick to where I'm more comfortable, but that's okay. We'll probably have not learned our lesson going forward. Danny chopping wood. 8-5 on the week. The wins were Virginia Tech -10, Texas A&M -2.5, Kansas +10, Duke +12.5, the Ole Miss Oklahoma under 49, Florida State Miami under 54.5, Western Michigan -16.5. Then the losses, you were with me in battle for that lock war. Syracuse Pitt over 61.5, UNLV +3.5, a kind of tough one there with Boise, Wisconsin +6.5, and then Northwestern Iowa under 37.5, and then Wyoming +1.5. Thoughts? What are we taking moving forward?
I would make every bet again that I did. UNLV, we were so close. It looked like it was going to hit. It did not. Wyoming, I don't know how many people saw that game. They lost on a kick with seconds remaining on the clock. Otherwise, they almost pulled out the upset outright. Northwestern Iowa, that one got away from me, but I probably would have taken it again. Iowa still the over machine. I was trying to fade that, but feel good.
Whoa. How'd you sniff out that Wyoming one?
They switched quarterbacks. I don't know if you guys saw that. That was the news.
Sabota is out now.
And so they were playing two quarterbacks, and I just thought it was an opportunity at home in Laramie for them to get a winnable game. 1-6 UNLV. Fortunately, they didn't. I thought the game was when you have two 1-6 teams playing against each other. I don't know if the gap is that big, so I put a lot in the field.
All right, that is an 8-5 week, which has him up to 43-53 for the season. Tom, it was a 9-7 week. The wins included Syracuse Pitt under 62.5, USC -13.5, Notre Dame -12.5, Penn State -6, Miami -20.5, Illinois, Oregon under 54.5, Boise, UNLV under 64.5, the Missouri team total under 16.5, never a doubt. The New Mexico, Colorado State under 65.5. The losses were the under 54.5 in LSU, Texas A&M, JMU -23.5, Michigan State +4, Oklahoma State, Baylor under 65, Texas Tech, TCU under 67, Tulane, North Texas under 67.5, and the Utah, Houston over 36.5.
Yeah, Notre Dame and the Mizzou team total were probably the easiest bets I made all year. Like I stopped worrying about those midway through the second quarter in both of them. And then of the losses, some of them, the James Madison one, I wasn't very happy about. I felt like the Dukes, I don't know, they haven't been that great the last few weeks. I figured they would roll in that game, and they didn't. And the only one I don't think I would make again is the Spartans +4 against Michigan. They just got overpowered.
Yeah. I hear you there. 9-7 on the week has you up to 43-56 for the season. Let's keep this thing rolling. Is momentum real? It can be. We're going to keep it going with another winning week. So I ask you, gentlemen, y'all ready to lock it up?
Let's do it.
Since 2005, the under in games between service academies is 40-9-1.
We're picking locks.
Give me an over in this one as well. A little 2-for-1 special.
Don't get these locks.
I was a sicko last week. Y'all were watching the good games. I was live betting the hell out of ULM Kentucky.
My blue plate special 5-star locks are coming.
5-star master lock. Lock it
You
up.
want these locks.
I'm living and dying every point, every cover.
All right, let's begin like we always do with those early bird specials. With the Thursday and Friday games, we just have one single game here on Halloween, and it is Tulane at Charlotte. Anybody got a lock? Nope.
I have a play for the Twitter tip, but it's not a lock. I've got Tulane in the first half -7.5.
Jacksonville State Liberty came home for you.
It did.
The under. Tom was on the under for those who don't follow him at Tom Fornelli.
Basically 2 option offenses in a game with a total of 63.5. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was nice. And Liberty taking its second loss, falling to 3-2 in conference play. Good win for Rich Rod. Tough scene for the Flames. Okay, on to Friday. Georgia State at UConn, USF at FAU, and San Diego State at Boise State. Who's got a lock?
I do.
Okay.
I was really impressed by Boise's D-line against UNLV. Like, they kicked their ass.
Mm-hmm.
And I have not been super impressed with San Diego State's offensive line. So I understand they have the quarterback now, but ultimately I'm a little skeptical that they can block them. So I'm going to go ahead and play the under 17 team total for the Aztecs.
Under 17?
Yeah.
Somewhat coordinated. I'll take the under 56.5. You're talking about San Diego State's offensive line, sort of what's going to happen in that side of the matchup. I just think San Diego State has been handling its business in a way where they're trying to play some lower scoring games. They're not going to want this to get away from them. So I like being able to get this as at 56.5 as well. So I know Boise's dangerous. What, you can get 57?
57.5.
7.5.
At FanDuel Sportsbook, where you can make every moment more. Yeah, that's maybe getting a little too distracted by these last couple of results. But I think San Diego State's playing hard, coming out like well coached. It is not what I expected when you just took the idea of Sean Lewis and you dropped him at San Diego State in terms of the way these games are playing out. So I'll give the Aztecs defense some credit here and think they can at least contain slightly Ashton Genty to the point where this doesn't turn into a wild high scoring blowout. I got one more for Friday.
Let's hear it.
With the opportunity to be bowl eligible, just on the table, and one of the lowest rated teams in all of FBS coming to town, you think Jim Mora is going to let you walk into his house and they're not going to handle their business? Give me the UConn Huskies. I'll take the 7.5. If there's a 7 out there, obviously I would take it. But at 7.5, which I think is pretty much painted, right?
There's like 7.5, 101, but no, there's no 7s.
Yeah. I'm still all good there. Give me UConn at home to get that 6th win on CBS Sports Network. Shout out to Kiana Martin. We'll be working sideline for that one.
Shout out.
Any other Fridays?
I mean, I assume due to the move of the under that like Byron Brown ain't playing for USF, or Byron Brown is not going to play for USF. I know they're saying all this stuff, but like, I don't think he's playing based on the move. Like 3.5 or 3.5, 3, 2.5, and then this was like 50, and now it's 48.
Mm-hmm.
It's a rivalry.
Backup's not terrible, and FAU is not particularly good, but just that's my read on tomorrow night's action.
I'd love to know who's got like a really strong play on USF FAU on November the 1st.
I mean, they're both like
This
crazy.
season.
They're both crazy fast. Okay.
Right.
But they're also like, this feels a little,
but they're not efficient. They're
right.
fast,
I was
but
gonna
not efficient. And so it's like, what happens with all these empty possessions?
You know those old Dom games where they're like going like crazy fast, but it's like incomplete, sack, punt. It feels a little like that.
We'll have to check it out. All right. Anything else for Friday? Nope. Okay. Danny in the tailgate is asking, what do we think Kami, Kenz, and Jumpin' Jordan are going with for costume day? TBD. Guess we'll have to find.
Gotta hang around.
Gotta hang around to find
We have
out.
both today? We're double dip?
I think we actually do. I don't know if I haven't confirmed with Jordan, but I will shoot her a text to see if she's coming by.
Okay.
She's got to play.
All right. Coming up on the other side, we will turn our attention to Saturday's action and give you one of the players to watch for the weekend. Next. And now it's time for the player to watch, brought to you by Microsoft Copilot plus PCs, powered by Snapdragon. In this segment, we'll identify a player that exemplifies the speed, intelligence, or battery found in every Copilot plus PC. And gentlemen, I thought that a great place to start as we turn our attention to Saturday's action is going to be Ohio State quarterback Will Howard, because when you think about what he's going to face against this Penn State defensive front, when you think about the kind of battery that he's going to need to be able to keep this thing going in Happy Valley, he certainly is an important player to the success of the Buckeyes offense. Tom, what do you think faces Will Howard, and what are his big responsibilities this weekend?
I think he's going to be going up against one of the better defenses in the country, and I think that he's going to have to make quick, smart decisions and probably use his legs to make plays happen for the Buckeyes offense.
That's right. Those legs are going to be so important. That escapability will be so important. The intelligence to be able to know when to take off and run, all important things for Ohio State quarterback Will Howard, our player to watch. And that was the player to watch segment, brought to you by Microsoft Copilot plus PCs. Whether you're multitasking like never before, working far from power outlets, or sketching your own ideas into existence, you can do it with the new Microsoft Copilot plus PCs powered by Snapdragon. Battery life varies by device and usage and settings. So let's turn our attention to that game. Ohio State at Penn State. Buckeyes favored by 3.5. Total around. We moved back up a little bit. We're dancing the other way. Like it was kind of down in the 45s, 46. Now we're getting closer to where we were at the beginning of the week. Who's got to play? I mean, don't we all do, right?
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, go.
Give me Penn State plus 3.5.
Let's go.
I know that if you look at the history of James Franklin against Ohio State, that's probably not the smartest bet to be making because he's struggled so much against the Buckeyes. But I don't think Penn State's been in a better situation facing Ohio State than they are right now, with Ohio State's offensive line being very banged up, the run game being absent because of it, and their defensive front. They will not have denied Dennis Sutton, but I think that they'll be able to overcome that. They still have Abdul Carter. They still have a great front seven. And I just, if you watch Ohio State's offense this year, like Will Howard is playing well, but there is a lack of downfield passing. And I think that Will Howard is pretty much the culprit for why you don't see Ohio State taking as many deep shots as you would expect, considering the players they have at wide receiver. So game's in Happy Valley, kind of an early start. I know that Penn State fans would much rather have had this be a night game so they could do the whole whiteout atmosphere. But I just think this is going to be a lower scoring, kind of sluggish affair. So if I can get over a field goal just with the home team here, give it to me. Nittany Lions plus 3.5.
Anybody want to agree? Fight it. Let's start there with the spread.
You're eating the cats.
Oh yes!
Feeling a little bit loopy today. I don't know if it's all this costume change and everything. Hold on a second. So yes, I will lock that up. Look, this is the best has ever looked. Hold on a second. Yeah, I think I know where she's going. Oh, there it is.
This is Fall by DK.
Stealing jackets from my wardrobe, nonetheless.
Yeah, I did steal this jacket about 20 minutes ago.
But wait, where'd you get the sweatshirt?
Bring in my production.
Oh, here we go. We got them both.
Let's go.
Let's go.
There we go.
Alright.
This is youth pastor version of Danny that he's been rocking the past week.
Right. You have to check it. You got to tune in for the CBS pregame show, 9 to noon on CBS Sports HQ. How about that for a promo? The
right.
garnet gold does it suits you though. It looks good. Yeah.
All right. So we are into Club Kenz.
I think I actually have those jeans too.
I need to get a chair here.
Yeah.
All right, Chip. I'm taking your approach here of just rapid fire, a bunch of different picks. Continuing to go on this show like is my living nightmare when I just have loser after loser after loser. So I hope people are fading me and making money. Okay. All right. Hold my jacket. Got it. All right. Rapid fire down the list. Penn State plus a 3.5. I mean, this is a higher ranked team than Ohio State. Ohio State should have lost to Nebraska. Not looking that great. Defense kind of cheeks on the road. Then we go Duke, Miami. Duke team total over 16. I'll send this to your producer, Joe. Duke team total over 16.5 or just full game over. But FSU's backup put up like 100 yards on Miami's defense on the ground. So I think high momentum for this Duke offense and bounce back game for Ward. So you know what? I'm taking the full game over there. What else do we like? Ole Miss got to cover. Ole Miss got to cover against Arkansas. Too much love for Arkansas beating up a Mississippi State. I mean, you don't get your flowers for that. Indiana, first quarter, always a lock. Spread. What else do I like?
That's a pretty good list.
One more. Georgia, Florida. We're taking the dogs to cover here, okay?
Dogs on top. Let's go.
Dogs.
Yes.
What the hell?
Is that a dinosaur bone?
This is a true freshman quarterback going up against the best defense in the country. And it's literally a Georgia home game. So give me the dogs through 4 quarters of football to lay it on them.
All right.
Good stuff.
All right.
Jordan, you got one? You want to?
You got one?
Should I just read through my 17 letter or like how does this work? Listen, wait, okay, so now I'm 1-3.
Yeah. But you're
Yeah, but is she still ahead of Kenz?
You're still beating Mackenzie.
Still beating Kenz.
I think it's a safe bet. I'm just like over 47.5 points in Ohio State, Penn State.
Ooh. All right.
I like it.
Oh,
Okay, I forgot about my best one.
We got some camera.
We can get her 45.5.
Sorry, then I'm done.
Yeah,
SMU team total against Pitt. I mean, that is just a nationwide average defense in Pittsburgh going against an above average offense in SMU. I like their team total. I've been on their team total a few times. They had 6 turnovers and still won the game last weekend.
Yep.
I mean, they had a meltdown and won. So if they can win in their meltdowns.
Kenz, have you seen Lashley against Narduzzi's defenses?
No.
Tore him up both times at Miami.
There you go. Back in your side.
There you go.
Thank you, bud.
All right. I think I have those jeans too.
All right.
You need to. All right.
Sounds like, I mean, that's like basically, I mean, I don't know if it's a full unity because do we keep UNITY just for us?
Yeah, that's just for us.
Yeah, okay, all right.
No.
But obviously we've
I don't
got
want that jinx on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think the Club Kenz support is strong. So Danny, anything else to add to that Penn State plus 3.5?
Yes, I am on the first half under 23.5. I really wish it was over that key number 24, but I still think as these teams kind of feel each other out, we've seen Ohio State start slow all season long. Penn State, their big play offense doesn't scare me, especially versus that front. I think they're going to kind of be feeling their way around. I think this is a lower scoring game overall too, but there does, the threats on the outside. Will Howard, does he get hot late? That kind of concerns me. So I'm just going to take the first half under.
Oh, what? We're still in the guest bank. Yep. That's, first half under 23.5. That's where I'm at too. If one of the other sides of being one of the best third quarter teams in America is that you just don't open it up in the first half, being on the road, having a little bit of concern about where your offensive line is at. I definitely feels like on the Ohio State side that it is not going to want to make a mistake. You don't want to give Penn State a short field for quick scores to let that building pop and really take off. And then on the Penn State side, you're still just doubting the explosiveness against this Jim Knowles defense. The path to Penn State winning, there's short fields, turnovers, being opportunistic. And I think that early in the game, it will be, I don't know if we see a whole lot of touchdowns. So I'm right there with you.
I actually prefer full game under here. I get 46 out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I prefer a full game under for this reason. I think that with how much like single coverage both these teams play, we're likely to have explosive plays, but I think it's unlikely that the distribution of those explosive plays are going to be equal on both sides, right? So I think the chance that one side gets out to a decent lead is actually pretty decent, and then they probably sit on the ball pretty well. And I don't really like either side's ability to pass protect in a negative game state here. So I kind of like full game under, maybe a funnel to a second half under. And if you guys bet alts, like I think some of the first half alts here are interesting. Just check those out.
Wait, on which side?
Either. Just look at some of the odds. I think there's like potential that it's
like the variance that our first half is over 30, the variance that our first half is even under 16.5 or something like that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, the sides specifically.
Oh, okay.
Not the totals.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Anything else on Ohio State, Penn State? Okay. Also at noon.
We think Drew, yes, Mahalski, no, right? Like that's our best guesses as of now.
That's pretty much where it sounded yesterday. Like
That's
Ryan
on
Day
that.
said, Mahalski's not going to be playing.
Yeah.
And Drew Aller's out there running a practice like no big deal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
there's
DB
also
could be playing left tackle for the Buckeyes.
If Drew is not right, then I think Denny's first half under makes a ton of sense, because if they throw him out there, they're like, oh shoot, this ain't good, and he's wasted like 10 minutes of ball game. So like from that standpoint, I think it makes a ton of sense.
So Dennis Sutton not playing?
I like it.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to play or not. That's actually an interesting one.
Yeah. So definitely something to watch. Also at noon Eastern time on America's Most Watched Network, the Network of Stars, we have a doubleheader, and it begins with Army and Air Force. Black Knights heavy favorites here, over under 41.5. Who's got a lock?
It's automatic, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do you think? You
Yeah,
think
I
I
know.
have a lock on this one?
Yes, I do.
What do you think it is?
Under 41.5.
No, that is incorrect.
Ooh.
You absolute moron. It's the under 42.
Ah!
Because since 2005, when service academies play, the under is now 46-11-1. Now, of course, they're 0-1 this year. And as I've talked about many times when this comes up, I'm not optimistic about the future of this bet, but damn it, it's a very important week in this country. And it's our civic duty to make sure that we bet the under when service academies play. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to ride it out through the rest of the season, even if I am not super confident. But also, it's not my only play on the game. Give me Army first half minus 12.5.
Oh, that's a good play.
Just that way, I'm kind of hedging a bit, because I do. If this goes over, it's going to be because
Army
Army
just
absolutely
kicks their
scores a billion points. So,
Yeah.
but I also think there's still a path for both of these to win. So I'm doing a little Danny 2-for-1 special here.
Love it.
Love that right there. Yeah. Army off last week. It kind of, they come back and with thunder and just to wallop them. Then I think we'll be talking about the Black Knights again heading into week 11. Certainly they've got that Notre Dame game in their future. Exciting time for Jeff Monken's crew. Also, weren't we at like 34.5 on the first game, the Navy Air Force game? And now we've kind of overcorrected the other way. I think the best thing to happen was that 34-7 Navy Air Force win.
Army is certainly scoring a little bit more than normal.
So I'm excited about that one.
Point of order at
yes.
FanDuel, where you can make every moment more, the total's actually up to 42.5. So.
Oh my gosh, who are these unpatriotic fools? Well, we're thankful. Their mistake is our opportunity to profit. FanDuel Sportsbook, we appreciate you. 42.5. It's where you can make every moment more. 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. Second half of that doubleheader is going to be Oregon in the Big House taking on Michigan. Ducks favored by more than 2 touchdowns. Who's got a lock?
You go first, Chip.
Oregon first half. I don't know if you've ever heard me say this before, but the Ducks get off to some pretty good starts. And in some of these games where they are double-digit favorites going into it, they lay the hammer down early. And then in the second half, I don't think that they intentionally pack it in, but we've got enough of a sample size that it's something to look at as a trend in terms of them like not absolutely blowing teams out of the water. I don't hate it, especially when you're looking at the season that they are trying to go and play, of a game, 15 game, 16 game type season that the Ducks are looking at. And so I just think that this is another spot where you don't want to give Michigan any confidence. You don't want to give those 100,000 plus fans any kind of hope. You just go in there and you jump out to a lead that seems insurmountable for Michigan's offense, which might be 14-0. But hey, even if it's 14-0 at half, they still cover this number. I've seen 7.5. I've seen 8.5. I'll take the best thing I can get.
I can get you 7.5, and it's a lock agreement.
Oh man, that's awesome.
There you go. Nice.
Outside of the Ohio State game, Oregon has been up by at least 3 scores in every single Big Ten game it's played. And I just think that if you look at Michigan going into this one, defensively, yeah, they're still solid, but they're not great. And the secondary has had trouble covering teams, with Will Johnson. There's still skepticism about whether or not Will Johnson's going to play. And these are the best receivers they've seen since facing Texas. And we saw what Texas was able to do to this team. So I think Oregon's going to get a pretty big lead here early. And they'll probably cover the full game spread too. But for the same reasons you're on the first half is why I'm on the first half.
Any other thoughts on this one?
Yeah. Let's play a little would you rather. Would you rather bet Michigan plus 14.5 or Oregon under 30 team total?
Neither.
Like but if you had to, like, I don't know.
I'd rather bet the Oregon team total.
Same.
Because I feel like they
too.
could win 27-3.
Right.
Right. Yeah. That's kind of my thought. Like, 28-10. Hell, 28-13 you lose on the Michigan side.
I like Oregon a lot. They're the number 1 team in the country.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the kids. Eat the cat.
Give me the home dog. I am going to eat the dog on this one. I am going to hold my nose and watch maybe the most disgusting game that we have seen take place, where Michigan's defense gives it one last all out, salvage the season type of effort. I have to. It's been college football this year. It's college football this season.
That's fair. Yeah.
I will say Dylan Gabriel has thrown some interceptions. He has gotten a little cocky at times and made throws he probably shouldn't try to make. So maybe you can get a defensive touchdown here. That's because you're going to need one if you want to cover.
Possible. I mean, I'm proud of company man Danny Cannell, because he's trying to keep you dialed into CBS for all 60 minutes. Hey, you never know. We are just like 10 points away from covering. Come on, y'all. Let's lock in for this fourth quarter. Then taking it to prime time, Texas A&M at South Carolina. Texas A&M short favorites, over under around 44.5. Who's got a lock?
Nobody?
I have to. It is not hitting the music. Give me the Aggies.
Yeah,
I think they're and everybody seems to be backing the Aggies. It seems way too obvious, but I'm going to go ahead and believe that they are one of the best teams in the SEC. I think they'll be prepared for the North Sellers. I think their defense will travel. The point spread makes me a little bit nervous because I thought they were at least a touchdown better. Makes me a little bit nervous if they are playing 2 quarterbacks. Like, I will probably throw up in my mouth a little bit if they do roll that out there. I want to see Marcel Reed under center. But I think they're on to something special. So I'm going to back them on the road.
I'm actually going to play the under here, but I think I like the under better, like with more of a targeted thing. I think I like under first half better. So what do I got? 20. That's full game. Go to first half. Give me under
22.5.
That looks real juice. Give me under 22.
I can get you 22.5 at FanDuel where you can make every moment.
Oh,
more.
there. Okay, well, if we got FanDuel, then let's do it. Under 22.5, South Carolina. I just can't imagine that either of these teams come out throwing a ton. So give me the under first half.
All right.
Only thing that makes me nervous on the totals, because I like a lower scoring game too, is the whoopsie daisy factor. Like we've seen what South Carolina happened to Oklahoma. We haven't seen Marcel Reed make those big mistakes yet, but like this is a game where that defense is going to be getting after him. Those types of scores make me a little bit nervous on the total.
That's fair.
Danny, are you doing the scariest player in college football thing later?
I am. Yeah.
Who'd you pick?
I haven't put it in yet.
Okay. Well, tune in.
Pick?
Well, I
want to make sure we don't have the same one, because there might be one of them in this game.
Yeah, I was thinking Kyle Kennard made my short list. I didn't end up picking him. Watch CBS Sports Network at 4:15 for us to be able to unveil our scariest players in college football. But I thought about Kennard a lot as somebody who would definitely make the short list. All right. Coming up on the other side, we open up Saturday's card. All of our Week 10 locks. Next.
CBS Sports HQ, giving you college football coverage unlike anyone else.
We're talking Big Ten.
Pre- and post-game coverage.
Are you encouraged with the way that this team responded?
Along with breaking news.
A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
Highlights and expert analysis.
That streak could be in jeopardy here.
Sure. What was your main takeaway from this game? How impressive was his domination?
That really changed the football game.
Let's go ahead and have some more fun.
Another wild ending.
The chaos continues.
Turn to CBS Sports HQ.
All right, let's review with the action. The picks that are already on the board so far. Bud is up with San Diego State team total under 17.5, the under 46 in Penn State, Ohio State, and the Texas A&M, South Carolina first half under 22.5. I've got the San Diego State Boise under 57.5, the first half under 23.5 in Penn State, Ohio State, UConn -7.5, and the Oregon first half -7.5. Danny's on Penn State +3.5, the Penn State Ohio State first half under 23.5, Michigan +14.5, and Texas A&M -2.5. Tom's got Penn State +3.5, Air Force Army under 42.5, Army first half -12.5, and the Oregon first half -7.5. All right, Danny, you were last week's winner, so I'll give you honors on the tee box. Where do you want to go?
I have a 2-for-1 special in Ole Miss against Arkansas. Ole Miss, I'm pretty sure. So I'm gonna have to check my math on this one. That they are either 6 or 7 games in a row that has hit the under. Their offense has not been running the football. Their offense has not been as prolific as it's been in the past. Their defense has been really, really good. You know who else defense is pretty good? Arkansas's. I think Arkansas will get some stops, and Taylor Green's been a little bit up and down. I kind of worry about him against this team, against this defense, so I think they could slow him down as well. But give me Arkansas. Is it over a touchdown still, or is it at a touchdown? Can I get the hook?
At a touchdown.
Okay, I'll take the 7 points. I'll take Arkansas, keeping this one close. I absolutely hated the way Lane Kiffin was talking about kickoff times and other games and looking ahead towards the future, kind of complaining about it. In that Georgia game on the schedule, they better be ready for a fist fight, because I think Arkansas is going to give it to them. So give me Arkansas +7 in the under.
I'm going to let those children sing on the under. Noon kickoff in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
11 local.
11 local. Got the Ole Miss just is not scary. We've hit a point in the season where we've got enough of a sample size at the end of October where what you did against those non-conference opponents, just I don't know if you can recapture that. I think Ole Miss is very good. Ole Miss is super talented, and their defensive line really has been tremendous. You know, they twist, they move, they're agile and forceful all at the same time. Love that group. But I don't think that the Rebels offense is throwing haymakers like they were against non-conference opponents. So yeah, I'm also on the under 53.5.
Chip, drill me. Well, no.
Apologies.
All right. There we go. All right. This is a long one today, man. We got some serious text. That tastes like my mom. All right. Well, Well, I do think Ole Miss should cover this line. I'm just not ready to lay this amount of points on the road with this Ole Miss team. First of all, and we got this probably second, third, and fourth here. So, first of all, the Rebs have a pretty bad record in Fayetteville with their last win there in 2008. Secondly, I'm just not sure where this team's mindset is, and I can't get a real answer to injuries to Trey Harris, Walter Nolan, and several offensive linemen. Here's what I do know. They still cannot run the ball, and the defense is really good. So, I think these totals are too high. Ole Miss team total is 31.5. They haven't scored over 27 versus an SEC team, and that includes an overtime game. The game total is 53.5, and the only time they sniffed this number was that night overtime game with LSU. I think Ole Miss and UT are similar teams in many regards, so I see this playing out similar to the UT-Arkansas game, which I assume means like where Arkansas just dropped the world back into coverage, right. Like kind of a throwback to Barry Odom, if you will, maybe a tribute, the old Arkansas DC. There were 33 points scored in that game total. So I like both these bets. Give me under 53.5 and Ole Miss team total under 31.5. Tooth emoji, lock emoji, anchor down emoji, wave to Jordan, wave to McKenzie, double wave to McKenzie, actually. Also, if Tom's spreadsheet can handle it, I request one more pick this week. Vandy +7. There are exactly 0 teams that have beaten Vandy by this number all season. That includes Alabama and Texas. And you're telling me Auburn's going to do it? I don't think so. This line is disrespectful. And with bowl eligibility on the line, I think you get a great effort from Vandy. I know Pavia is not 100%, but he will be good enough to win at Auburn. Moneyline Sprinkles advised. Anchor down. Waves to Hugh Freeze.
There's always room on the spreadsheet for Vandy.
Always. Got a James in the tailgate throwing somebody on the hot seat right now. I don't know what the situation is over there, but...
Yeah, is there a Mrs. Dentist? I
don't know.
I will inquire. We'll see.
Won't be for much longer.
Yeah, I don't know. If we're doing single waves, I don't know. If we're gonna go ahead and get it out here, give anybody else. I'm gonna take Vandy 100% because what he failed to. Great points about things that have happened this year. Because do you know who won at Auburn last year? Diego Pavia. Mm-hmm. Do you know who won at Auburn last year? Jerry Kill. And who's now suiting up in that black and gold alongside our beloved Commodores? That would be Diego Pavia and Jerry Kill, along with at least like 2 other staffers from New Mexico State, right?
At least. I mean, Jerry Kill and Beck and
yeah. So
a couple other guys who,
that's disrespectful to the history of where Diego and where these men came from. You were disrespecting their history. Give me Vanderbilt +7 right there with them on that one.
I was not going to do this, but I got to go with our guys at FanDuel. Give me Auburn -6.5. Fight. They looked a little better. Vandy's played a bunch of tough games in a row. I think this is a little bit short of a number to play here, but I could be wrong, obviously.
I mean, we'll settle it in the ring. Let's go. All right. Like, somebody alleged that we were being too disciplined, and you wait and see.
I got a pretty long sheet here. Just like some of these discussion games, like we're not going to discuss some of these games I got. Okay, we're just not. We're just going to just fire them.
I need to make sure I don't like step on a guitar or something. I need
a Baptist in the liquor store. Just kind of nod and just move on.
Got too many props right now to smash too much for SICKO modes. I'll be ready. All right. So in 7
Mighty Morphin Power Trader. That's pretty good.
In 7 of the last 8 cocktail party games, chalk has covered. The favorite has covered. In each of the last 10 cocktail party games, the winner has won by double digits. Georgia's on a run of being favored and then covering that number and kind of pouring it on. I think the dogs come out of this off week. I am taking Georgia. I will lay the 16.5. Best number I can get with Georgia.
16.
Let's do it. Dogs on top.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Lock agreement.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
I actually like what I've seen from Florida, but I like what I've seen from Georgia more recently. And I don't really know that I trust Florida's offense to go out there and really score on Georgia.
Are we worried at all that Carson Beck was seen around downtown Fort Lauderdale on the beach partying with the CBS Sports pregame crew? Are we worried about that?
During a bye week? No.
Danny, you gave me no reaction on Tuesday when I called it the Mackenzie Brooks bump. You know, that's like
Brooks bump.
Yeah. It sounded great. And if Carson Beck comes back and has like 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, I think we go back to that photo and be like, look,
for sure. That's the turning point right there.
This is the turning point for his season.
It's like extra dog power. Mackenzie's a dog. Carson, got that dog mentality.
Got that dog mentality. He needed to be reminded of what seeing a Georgia product achieving greatness in the wild looked like. You know?
Yeah.
That's what Carson Beck needed. All right, Tom, where do we go?
Let's see here. I will go. You know what? I'm actually Mackenzie already mentioned it earlier in the show, but Mikey can attest to it. I had it on my sheet. Give me the SMU team total over 33.5. I think this game, we talked about it in the big game breakdown. We talked about Rhett Lashley's prior history against these Narduzzi defenses, how successful they've been. I think this offense is playing well. I think it is a big night game for them. I wouldn't call it the biggest game in program history, because I'm sure if you go back to 1983, there was a bigger one, but it's certainly the biggest game this program's had in a very long time. So give me the Mustangs team total over 33.5.
Don't tell anybody this, because Pat Narduzzi's coming on the pregame show, I think at 9:30, 9:45, sometime around then. My dad went to Pitt, so just keep this under wraps. Give me SMU, lay the points. Okay. Is it 7 right now? I think I got a touchdown, right?
7 or 7.5.
There's 7. There's a couple 7s that are legit.
Yeah, I thought there was 7.
There's a 7.
I'll take that. Yeah. So keep that under wraps. I like Pitt a lot. It's been a great story. I think SMU's coming off a game. Rhett Lashley was pissed. Kevin Jennings cleans up the turnovers. I think that was their wake-up call. I think they come out in a frenzy and get it done. A little bit worried about Eli Holstein. I know it was just a speck of dirt in the eye, but they've kind of sputtered against ACC play recently.
Fight.
Panthers plus 7.5.
Wow.
Yeah, this game ain't going to be clean. This game is not going to be crisp. This game is going to have mistakes. This game has enough, like, our variance of outcomes is massive. And with that scenario, I think 7.5 gives me a lot of ways to win. When I'm sitting there with Pitt 7.5. I am less concerned about Eli Holstein than I am about Kevin Jennings. And I am less concerned about Kevin Jennings than I am with several other position groups for this SMU team, because that golf cart got some work carrying some players off over there in Durham. And Rhett Lashley was saying this week, we got a lot of guys that are like toughing it out, that are going through it. I wonder if SMU right now I wonder if they've got their full bill of health to play at their peak, because obviously, as Bud mentioned, Rhett Lashley against Pat Narduzzi, with all of his full plethora of talent and options, he's scored a whole bunch. But I kind of think that right now we've got a Panthers team that can hang in this in a in a kind of weird game in that 8:00 Eastern time slot from Dallas.
Do you know who is number 3 in the country in turnover worthy play percentage?
Is it Eli Holstein?
It's Holstein.
Yeah. You know, I just something just
Kevin Jennings,
Tom's favorite quarterback.
Calandria?
Narrow down a little more. State of
Nico?
Texas?
Quinn? Yeah.
Wow.
Quinn
I saw this on Twitter this morning. Quinn's turnover worthy play percentage without play action, 7%. His ADOT, so average depth of target, 5.8. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen that.
That's not great.
So like all the screen stuff behind the line of scrimmage, Quinn's been solid, and everything else hot garbage, with the exception of the
not
Michigan
100%.
Yeah,
Got to start Arch Manning.
I was thinking though.
How many snaps in the playoff does Arch Manning take? Like over under 25.
Over.
Wow, we're just
I
putting
think
him in the playoff already.
I think eventually they. I think they'll go to
start with from College Station. How many reps he gets?
That's
Yeah, that might be where they have to break glass in case of emergency. That emergency might happen when with Mike Elko on the other sideline. They're going to have to do the Texas
over 150
A&M
snaps rest of season.
Texas A&M did to LSU. Do the whoops, and then all of a sudden get your defense reeling.
Yeah.
All right. Sweet. Bud, where do you want to
go? Let's Chip, music me a little bit, please.
Oh, okay. That music. Like you want you want that music right there. Okay.
Yeah.
It's time for sicko mode. Let's go.
I'm a little bit lower on some of the teams in the bottom of the Sun Belt. If things go wrong, they could be like UMass. That's kind of like sicko mode of a sicko mode. We made a note of this 2 weeks ago when we talked about the hiring and firing season and how we liked Tim Beck maybe as a head coach, but maybe not as an offensive coordinator, going back to his NC State days. And well, now it's time to play that, boys. Under 53.5 in Coastal Troy. I know Troy found maybe a little something there in the second half of that last game with the backup quarterback, but I don't know they found that much. And I'm just betting here on a little reduced tempo, under 53.5 for me. That is, I think Coastal Troy is under is fairly sick. That's the only real sick thing I have this week.
I would say that Coastal slipping, like a lot of those Sun Belt teams, you mentioned James Madison earlier. Texas State has kind of let it slide. Like a lot of these teams that we were excited about early in the year kind of feels like they've gotten on shaky ground in recent weeks.
Yeah. The Sun Belt sucks this year. Like last year's Troy team, gotta make sure of this. Last year's Troy team, I think, would lay definitely over a touchdown against the whole rest of this Sun Belt this year. And maybe 10.
That was Bud Elliott going beautiful mind on his Troy versus Troy.
Yeah, I'm just trying to like put in perspective. Like we have seen like just absolute king shit Sun Belt teams, right? Right. And this year there ain't one. Unless someone wants to.
What's happened is Louisiana has not been a monster, but they just haven't like let go of the rope at all. So
like is Louisiana that much better than last year's team? Like somewhat, but it's not like way better.
Right.
Arkansas State is not better than they were last year. Like the teams we thought might step up have not, but the teams we thought would fall back have in a major way.
I would agree with that. All right, Tom.
Let's see. Where would I like to go? Let's head out to the West Coast here, along the water. As the boats are sailgating, heading up to Husky Stadium, where the Huskies will be hosting the USC Trojans, who I don't know if you've noticed have not won a game on the road. And they've been favored in all of those games. And they have not covered because it's hard to cover as a favorite when you don't win the game. Give me Washington +3. I think the Huskies, they've played two tough games. The last two games have been on the road against Iowa, against Indiana. Tough games to play. Indiana's very good. Iowa's a tough place to win. I still think schematically, game plan wise, Jed Fish is a very good coach. I think that he understands that this USC defense is beaten up, especially on the defensive lines and at linebacker. I think they will lean on the run game against a USC defense that is beaten up and then was inexplicably on the field for like 1 billion snaps last week because Lincoln Riley does not bother thinking ahead. So give me the Huskies +3.
I think all the threes got bought up.
Are they gone?
Yeah.
I'll take 2.5.
All right. So if things are moving on this, are the 55.5s there?
Yeah, you can get.
Yeah, there's a 55.5.
Yeah, I would like to go over 55.5. Some of that is a little bit like, I mean, Tom wrote it in his big time column about, I think it was even in the headline, like, I'm angry with Lincoln Riley for like the way he handled things at the end of games. He's already got a defense that's lost players to injury, lost players to the transfer portal, and you're going out there and creating more snaps. Now they're going to be going on the road. And also I don't know if you remember the second half of the Indiana-Washington game, but Indiana just strung together 8-minute drives, just leaving that Washington defense on the field for snap after snap after snap after snap. I see this one being a spot where both offenses, I think, are going to be able to move the football. It might be Jonah Coleman running it with Washington. It might be more of the like short possession pass game for Miller Moss and USC. But I do think both these teams are going to be able to score someone over 55.5.
That makes sense. I'm going to go ahead and take Washington plus 2.5.
Woo! At the children.
It may be dumb. I mean, like the quarterback for Washington played terribly last time out, but I think that they have enough weapons here to get this done.
All right. Oh yeah, I forgot. I already got Vanderbilt on the board. Speaking of Indiana. Indiana fourth quarter, smoke them through the filter. Nobody plays harder at the end of the game than the Hoosiers. So I'll take it. I think it's -1.5 for the fourth quarter.
In the fourth quarter, we're betting.
Yes. Indiana fourth quarter -1.5. There are
it works every week.
There are so many ways to win because obviously they're going to be challenged, as you know, a lot of people have mentioned. This is the toughest road environment that Indiana has faced all season. Could they maybe be a little rocky out the gate? Maybe it's going to take a little bit for Curtis Rourke to see how the fingers feeling, because it does certainly seem like he's going out there. But man, offense, defense, this is a group that closes games out about as well as anybody in the country. So yeah, Hoosiers fourth quarter -1.5.
I got to tell you, Spank odds is pretty good. I'm not showing any fourth quarter yet. So like that's definitely a FanDuel.
That's a FanDuel make every moment
FanDuel
more. You can find them at -1.5 with the juice set at -106.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Go.
I got to play in this game. I was going to play the music, but I'm not going to take it. Because it doesn't count if it's just a half. If it's just a half, give me Michigan State first half +4.5. All out effort. Indiana feeling their way back with Curtis Rourke. How's his thumb? Handing the football a lot. Michigan's defense able to contain them, hit a big play or two. They keep it close for the half. Chip and I are we're gonna weave this together.
Yeah, thread the needle, baby. Let's go. Stitch ourselves a sweater here. Let's go.
Right. Fight it. Give me Michigan State plus, what can I get? 8?
Wait, hold on. What are you fighting?
Just the general Indiana love. Give me Michigan State.
We all can win.
Bud's just fighting love. I'm sick and tired of it.
We got a lot of ways to win, Bud. You could cash, and I could cash. You know, by the end of this, so
we all could cash.
You would think the red Power Ranger liked love, but no.
Michigan State generally looks improved to me.
Yeah.
If Rourke is for some reason not in, this is not going to close above a touchdown.
Sure.
Right. If he is in, I don't think it goes to 10. Right. And I'm not saying I'm free rolled against Rourke playing, obviously, like he's quite good. And I like awesome. We were a Rourke fan, 2 years ago in Ohio when he was playing and healthy. I think Michigan State's improved. It's not an easy road game to go play.
Iowa
Michigan State will be fired up.
Yeah, Iowa got pantsed in this very same spot. So I'm aware that there's a potential of that here. Okay. Actually let's hit our last break, and then coming up on the other side, the rest of our week 10 locks for Saturday and Moneyline Sprinkles next. All right. Tom.
Chip.
Where would you like to go?
I'm going to stick. Let's see. I'm going to stick in the Big Ten. I got a lot more Big Ten plays than I've got anywhere else this week. I'm not eating the dogs, but I am betting the dogs. Illinois as a home underdog of 3 points against Minnesota. We talked about it. It's just disrespectful. I know Minnesota's playing well. Minnesota's also been playing UCLA, and think Maryland, not exactly great teams. Illinois' offense has struggled in games against Michigan, Oregon, and Penn State. They haven't struggled against anybody else. They certainly haven't struggled at home. Also, do you know who's never lost to Minnesota in his career as a head coach, either at Wisconsin or Illinois?
Lovie Smith.
Brett. Oh. Brett Bielema. Give me Illinois +3. I think Lovey lost once.
Are you going to take this over?
There's a couple 45s out there. It's mostly 45.5.
Yeah, it's mostly 45.5.
I'm a little. Are we sure that Illinois' offense isn't like real dinged up? Because like they had a couple guys take like big time shots at the end of those games last week. That scares me a little bit.
I'm told we're fine.
I'd be more afraid that my observation that Max Brosmer and the Minnesota offense is like really cooking might also have been an opponent issue.
That's fair.
So I'm going to wait and see.
He has been getting better, I think.
I agree.
I mean, in terms of just not doing really dumb stuff with the ball. I would probably just rather bet this live. What time's this game? Yeah, I'll be locked in betting this live. I think I want to see it. I think the other problem with over is like, if Minnesota gets out to an early lead, then you know how they're going to play this. Like everything underneath for Illinois, they're going to give the back like 25 carries, and then like Brosmer's more efficient, but he throws like 18 passes in the game type thing. So I'll because I can't get a 45, I'll pass and I'll look to bet it live.
Actually, I want it. Let's go over 45.
Let's go.
Yeah. This will be going on as I'll be sitting just outside of the big house for CBS Sports HQ on the desk. We'll be doing hits as part of the pregame show, getting ready for a pregame show for the game. And you know what? I'm not going to have the opportunity to get this live, so I'm just going to take it right here when you lay it on the table. Let's go over 45. I think both these quarterbacks play well.
Let's go.
All right.
I got a couple.
Okay.
It's beautiful weather here in South Florida. It'll be beautiful weather for the Miami Hurricanes playing against Duke. Miami's offense has been averaging 46.8 points a game. It's the 5th best in the history of the ACC through 8 games. Chip, who's the most prolific offense through 8 games in ACC history?
That would be the 1995 Florida State Seminoles,
who put up 56 points a game. So 46.8 is cute, but good luck. But maybe they try to catch that record. The other thing they're going to do is put up a number on Duke. Lay them. Lay the points, 20.5, under 3 touchdowns. Cam Ward, Heisman race. He needs stats. They're going to get it for him. The other thing, Mario versus Manny. I know that's been a big deal. How many times do you think Mario Cristobal last year saw his record compared to Manny Diaz's record in their first couple years at Duke, and he didn't love it? I think he wants to put up a statement game against the previous coach there. Lay him with Miami.
Florida State was scoring 50 points a game against a bunch of truck drivers in 1995. Come on, man.
All right, JJ Redick.
Anybody want to fight this?
Get in there, Bronny. Go play.
I thought about.
Have to.
What do we have out there? I kind of like Duke team total under. I haven't bet it yet, so I'm gonna pass it. But I could see Duke just doing nothing on offense.
Was that a Kenz?
Kenzie took their over. Yeah, I mean, I think fading Kenzie's just a good play. She's 1-7. If we just faded her every week, this show would be killing it.
The show would not exist. We would just retire to an island.
Well, I mean, I'm not.
I found it's not great to go to an island when you're a rich guy lately. I just
you saw the
NCAA house payments out here, so we're just moving chips around on the table. All right.
Oh my gosh.
This might be a little bit sick, but it's not. I don't think it's a sicko mode. Just the specificity of it. Give me Mississippi State first half team total over 20.5. Mississippi State will be playing UMass But Mississippi State does have big games ahead in the future. I think the offense has been playing better in recent weeks. And what have we seen when UMass goes up against even like middle of the pack, type teams at a power conference level? They just get absolutely shredded. So I think that Mississippi State goes out there in the first half, gives us 3 touchdowns. And then if they decide to pack it in after that, we don't have to worry about them trying to hit that massive number or cover a massive spread. They do have Tennessee on deck next week. So let's go first half, Mississippi State team total over 20.5.
I need to get like an evolution of Chip Patterson on the Locks pod.
This is facts.
Yeah, I'll just take, it's just like picking the top 25 games, taking spreads like 10 years ago. And now I'm going to take Mississippi State first half team total over 20.5.
Well, honestly, the trigger when I was looking at the board was the Missouri game when like Missouri just needed to kick someone's ass so bad. And UMass was like, pick me, pick me, pick me. And so I think that for Mississippi State, like this is an offense that since they've made the change, kind of Jeff Lebby is done trying to like play games close. He's trying to go out there and run his stuff. And so I think they'll be able to do it against UMass.
Do you remember SMU Temple last year? It was like a Friday night game.
And Rhett Lashley was really concerned about his like yardage and point rankings or like his profile.
He never said that. We just were like, look, man, it's an offensive coach, a tempo guy, and they have played like 3 absolute, almost cussed, really good defenses in a row. And they like some of these offensive coaches do care about their offensive stats for sure. And it's not like Mississippi State's going to have a lot of defensive stats to hang their hat on this year. So yeah.
All right.
I could see that.
Danny, where you want to go?
I'm going to go to the ATM and just punch in the PIN code because this one has been working for you, Chip, and you shared it with me. Give me Clemson first half minus 6.5 versus Louisville. They come out of the gate strong. I don't hate them to cover the entire game, but I could side kind of that backdoor cover. Louisville keeps chucking it around. Tyler Shuck late, but I think Clemson comes out strong early. I'll take the first half, Clemson.
I'll take full game, Clemson. We mentioned this during the big game breakdown. Louisville's been on a run right here, and I wonder if they're going to run out of gas. Death Valley at night. Choose whichever of these reasons that you want to be able to grab. I think the Tigers will be able to win this thing by 2 touchdowns.
Bud seems like you want something.
Not yet.
Oh, buddy. Hey. If Louisville beats Clemson in Death Valley on Saturday night, I will get a red Solo cup and offer a sincere cheers to you. I will say congratulations.
What is the trick-or-treating drink of choice, by the way?
Ooh.
Right now, I am in a place with a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old that I really need my hands.
Yep.
It's like
you just go gummies.
If we get out to a house and I get a treat from like a house that's got the adult treats and the kid treats, then I'll nurse it. But I'm not gonna like charge off into the neighborhood with a Yeti.
Right. Yeah.
So
I am a big I don't think trick or treat depends on the setup, right? Like if you're golf carting around, maybe it's
you've got the cup holders,
right? If you don't have the cup holder, I think it's like I think you treat yourself with like a nice bourbon before you go around or tequila or something, and just
yeah, exactly, a pregame cocktail, and then go out and be able to have my hands for scooping up a 2-year-old who's trying to dart into the middle of the road, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
I feel like walking around on mushrooms on Halloween would probably be fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do the mushrooms plus the 2-year-old. Like, does that get the wife stamp of approval? I don't. Probably not.
I think that gets the Child Protective Services.
Right. Yeah. Yes, you're probably not going to do that.
All right. Let's. How many does everybody have left?
I have at least 3, maybe a 4th.
All right, Tom. Let's go.
All right. I'm going to stick with this train. It's been working all season. Didn't take it last week because I was scared of Northwestern, and it's still cashed. Give me Wisconsin, Iowa over 40.5. Iowa scored 40 points by itself 3 times this season. Okay. The Hawkeyes, they are an offensive juggernaut. I think now that they've put Brendan Sullivan at quarterback, it'll only help their run game further because defenses now have to actually account for the QB in the run game, which caused some hesitation. That'll hurt on those outside zone stretch runs that they absolutely love running with Caleb Johnson. I think he's going to have a big game. And I also think Wisconsin, they won't put up a ton of points, but I think they could do enough in this game to make this one pretty comfortable. So Wisconsin, Iowa over 40.5.
Right there with you. What happened when Bo Pribula came in? Penn State was kind of able to move the ball. I think that mobility kind of gave Wisconsin some trouble. So I think with Brendan Sullivan, they've unlocked something special. I agree with that. Instead of jumping on the spread on this one, I'll take the total. I think Iowa can score enough to get us there, though.
I'm gonna lay with Iowa.
Yeah,
lay with 3. How can I not? I've been asking for Brendan Sullivan all season. McNamara sucks. Why are you playing him? Just because you paid him doesn't mean you got to play him. He isn't any good. Please play Sullivan. So they did it. I got to bet him. Iowa. Also, if you want to start, like, if you want a real difference between, like, where do you live? My buddy said warm apple cider and Jack Fire. And I was like, maybe if you live somewhere with weather nobody would ever pay to vacation in, because he lives in, like, Ohio. So no, bro. We cannot be doing, not in this kind of weather, not in costumes.
My vacation.
And he said, fine.
What are you talking about?
Let me go make my $1,800 mortgage payment for my 5,500 square foot house in Florida. Okay.
Let's go.
That's
property jokes.
Yeah.
All right, Tom, let's fire it on another one?
Sure. I will take another over. Give me the over 39.5 in UCLA, Nebraska. Nebraska's offense has struggled in recent weeks. It's also been on the road against much better defenses than the one it will be facing at home in UCLA here. I think this could very much be a get right kind of game for the Cornhuskers. And I've also seen UCLA's offense, calling it good would be a large stretch, but we are seeing incremental improvements. Ethan Garbers is taking better care of the football a little bit. He was having real difficulty with that for a while. I just think, again, this is another situation, 39.5. We're not asking for a whole lot here, boys. Just give me a 21-20 game. That's all I need.
What's our win status here?
Ooh.
It's going to be windy, but I don't know if it's going to be, like, it's been really windy here all week, but that's supposed to be dying down in the next day. So
you like 21-20?
I mean, I just say I think it'll be much more than that. I think it'll be more like a 27 to, I don't know, 17-ish.
Ooh. I'm going to take UCLA, so I don't like that. But give me UCLA plus 6.5. You mentioned Garbers playing a little bit better. Nebraska, I loved them early. I just feel like I'm not as impressed lately. Still think it's a work in progress. It's about next season. UCLA, still looking for that really big win. I think they could possibly get it here. Give me the Bruins plus 6.5.
Feels
right.
so trendy.
Are you taking you're taking UCLA? Bud?
No, I'm not. I'm saying, look, it feels really trendy
To take UCLA?
That's what all the cool kids are doing.
And I am pretty
hip. You know, they got that Dodgers fever, so you got to take the LA team.
I got one more. I'll give it to you. SEC. Do you guys realize Tennessee is the 7th ranked team in the country? That blows my mind. 7th ranked team in the country. It's probably why they're such a big favorite against Kentucky, who's atrocious offensively. They don't have to be that great, though. They're going to keep this one inside the number. Give me 16.5 points. I don't think Tennessee is that much better than this Kentucky team. And give me the under in the game total as well. So I'll take 16.5
I can get
points.
you 17 on Kentucky.
17, even better. Crucial number, and under 45.5.
And I can lock agreement with you on that under.
On the under? Okay. Cool.
Yep. I mean, yeah, I don't know how many points Kentucky will score in this game. And and Tennessee's offense just hasn't really shown much. So maybe this is the week they finally get right, but we've seen Kentucky's defense play well against other good offenses. So I just feel like this could be like a 42-3 game. You know what I mean? Like there is a situation where Tennessee does get right and Kentucky just completely lays down. So I think it's a situation kind of similar to what I took with the Oregon-Illinois game last week, where I think Kentucky either muddies it up to keep it close or Tennessee blows them out early and they just coast to the end.
I love a lot of what you just said, Tom, especially that whole 42-3 thing.
Fight.
I do have 16.5, right?
Yeah, there's 16.5s out there.
Okay. Yeah, I'll lay it with Tennessee. I am very concerned about the Kentucky football program and the current state of things because they look just a general, probably unfair, bland statement. They look panicked without answers. They look like they do not have obvious plan B or C, or maybe they're on D or E by now, but it's just a team that is not good and there's not an obvious answer to be able to help save them. They don't have a backup quarterback who can go out there and be able to be a spark for this team. They struggle to score the ball with they struggle so much scoring the football. There is no way I can see them going into this stadium, into this environment, and in a game that I think I've mentioned this, but Tennessee has like 1 billion rivals. The Kentucky-Tennessee rivalry is a little sneaky just in terms of being one of those that doesn't have as much history or tradition, but does have a lot of hate. Also, it's gone Tennessee's way a lot recently. Yeah, I'll take the Vols. I'll lay the big number. I think Tennessee's defense wins the day, and over the course of 4 quarters, they cover the number.
To me, a lot of this is dependent on and sorry, our buddy Trey Biddy at Hog Sports hit the StreamYard for 24/7 is glitching, so I'm actually in 2 StreamYards right now, switching out graphics while I make these bets. So do we think Kentucky's defense shows up and cares?
It is a possible. I mean, you've used the we put them on
the
Q.
Capital Q quit 2 weeks in a row on defense. I mean, those guys they didn't give a damn. Low effort, standing up, playing patty cake. It's hard to make a bet like pregame bet that, without knowing. Because if they try, it's not like Tennessee's offense has been awesome.
But the ceiling for these two offenses is different.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. And I don't really. They're like, oh, we like Wimsat. I'm like, well, that makes one person on earth.
Talking to a source close to the Kentucky program, they say they like Gavin Wimsat.
Really? Mm-hmm. Athan Kalak-Manis is a massive upgrade over Wimsat, full stop. And it's not like he's good. So, yeah.
All right, I am. I'm tapped out on my locks. I am.
Oh, that's it. You're done.
Yeah.
I would just like to point out there are 39 games on Saturday, and Chip has locks in 15 of them.
I thought it was 14. Hold on. How did I do that? What happened here? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
There's 15.
12, 13. Shoot. How did I get lost in the sauce like that? Oops.
Just what, 38% of the games you've got to play on this weekend. I've got one left.
Okay.
I'm going to go to the rivalry between Baylor and TCU. Another team total play for me. Give me the Baylor team total over 34.5. I feel like Baylor is going to win this game. I just don't know what TCU is going to do. So I don't hate that taking them in the spread, nor do I hate taking the over. But since I'm not super confident in either one, I am still kind of confident that Baylor's going to score. So Baylor over 34.5.
Yeah, I think that's probably a pretty good one, Tom.
All right. But Danny, you good?
Good.
All right. Bud?
I'm good.
All right, let's review our Week 10 locks. But is on San Diego State team total under 17.5. The Penn State, Ohio State under 46. The Texas A&M, South Carolina first half under 22.5. Auburn -6.5. Coastal Troy under 53.5. Washington +2.5. Georgia -16. Michigan State +8 and Iowa -3. I've got San Diego State, Boise under 57.5. The Penn State, Ohio State first half under 23.5. UConn -7.5. Vandy +7. Oregon first half -7.5. The Ole Miss-Arkansas under 54. Georgia -16. Pitt +7.5. Wisconsin, Iowa over 40.5. Indiana fourth quarter -1.5. Tennessee -16.5. Mississippi State first half team total over 20.5. Clemson -10. USC-Washington over 55.5. And the Minnesota, Illinois over 45. Danny's on. Penn State +3.5. Penn State, Ohio State first half under 23.5. Michigan +14.5. The Texas A&M -2.5, Arkansas +7, the Ole Miss-Arkansas under 54, Michigan State first half +4.5, SMU -7, Miami -20.5, Kentucky, Tennessee under 45.5, Kentucky +17, UCLA +6.5, Clemson first half -6.5, and Tom Scott. Penn State +3.5, Air Force Army under 42.5, the Army first half -12.5, SMU team total over 33.5, Oregon first half -7.5, Washington +2.5, Illinois +3, UCLA-Nebraska over 39.5, Wisconsin, Iowa over 40.5, Kentucky, Tennessee under 45.5, and the Baylor team total over 34.5. And this Moneyline Sprinkles segment is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. All right, let's look at our sprinkles from a week ago. Ooh, all right. So Bud went 0-4. Washington, New Mexico, ULM, Buffalo. Chip cashed on BYU +125. Fell short on LSU, Navy, and Wisconsin. Danny, 0-4, UNLV, Duke, Cincinnati, and FSU. And Tom brought two home, BYU and Auburn +122. Losses for Maryland, LSU, and Illinois. That has, for the season, Tom is your sprinkle king, currently 18-20, up 11.48 units. Chip's in second place, 9-17, up 2.55 units. Then it's Bud, 7-18, down 3.27 units. Then Danny, 9-24, down 11.88 units. Tom, what are the sprinkles?
This week I'm keeping it conservative. I've only got 3, which for me is a pretty low total, but 2 of them I already locked up on the spread. I'm going to take Illinois +130, Washington +120, and then my final one. They haven't been great this year, but they're also facing a team that's firing its defensive coordinator and it's changing its offensive play caller, yet it is still favored at home. It's like, I feel like, why are you favored when you have to make all these changes to your coaching staff? So give me Arizona +200.
Oh, yeah. All right. I am going to take Vanderbilt +215. I will have Arkansas +220. And I'm so sorry, but I need to say these words. Wouldn't it be hilarious? Give me the Duke Blue Devils +900.
Oh, wow.
It would be hilarious.
It would be the most college football of all college football results.
By the way, Chip, I can get Vandy 230.
Vandy 230? Okay.
I have 2 agreements with you. Arkansas and Vandy are the agreements. And then I'm going to try one more time. Mac Brown, you know what he's never done?
Beaten Florida State.
He's never beaten his alma mater, and it ain't happening now. Give me the Noles as just a 2.5-point underdog to win the game outright. +115.
I was about to say, we're flirting with you not even getting plus value.
No, but I'm getting it. I'm taking
it. Surely if this one hits, it makes up for all the losses.
All right, Bud, where we going?
Death Valley.
Oh.
Louisville plus 345. Jeff Brom, Giant Killer.
Yep.
And then let's go to Houston. Houston plus 420. Take down Kansas State. I don't know.
Blaze it.
Some of this money line stuff, like I bet significantly fewer money lines late in the year. I think the numbers are more dialed, so like you're not getting some of the variance, but we'll see.
Some of us keep cashing them anyway.
All right. And any more? That's it?
That's all
I'm
I got.
done.
Okay. And that Moneyline Sprinkles segment was brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. That is the most Big 12 result possible. Like if Houston beats Kansas State, and then all of a sudden we're starting to talk about the crazy tiebreakers in the Big 12. Oof. Could get wild. All right. Any other final thoughts, final words before we get out of here?
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Be
I
safe.
was wondering, you're dressed up as Marty McFly.
Yeah.
Do you remember what Marty McFly had access to when he went to the future?
He had the book, the almanac. Yeah.
Are you going undefeated this week? Is there something we need to know?
The key is not to get them all right, because then you might get yourself in trouble. So you just got to find that one. You got to find that one diamond in the rough, like Duke Miami. Because remember, that's what Biff did. Biff hit the one underdog horse at crazy odds, and then built out his dynasty from there. Is this the beginning? Who knows? You'll have to wait.
Spoken like somebody who's cheated on a lot of tests, Chip. You got to get at least one wrong so they don't suspect anything.
That's like the disaster result for the ACC, by the way. In terms of like the ACC desperately wanted to get 2 in, like Miami loses to Duke and they don't win the ACC championship game. Like they're not getting in, I don't think.
Do you know what the beautiful thing about the college football playoff invitational is? I don't care about those implications per conference. If it's going to make me laugh on a fall Saturday, that is number one priority.
There'll be a lot of laughs in this household if that happens.
Yeah. All right. We will be back Saturday night, 11:30 p.m. Eastern time. Come and join us for our Week 10 Instant Reaction Live. And you can follow him on Twitter at Tom Fernelli. You can follow him at Bud Elliott 3. You can follow him at Danny Cadell. You can follow me at Chip_Patterson. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you.